Okay, now it might be going. Okay. And then it will be by BHUMIBA on interrogating gender constructs, a feminist analysis of Virginia Woolf's Orlando, followed by Darshan's presentation on William Butler Yeats, The Alchemist of Symbolism. After that, DHATRI's presentation will be on Beauty Amidst the Bytes, Unearthing Unexpected Advantages of the Digital Wasteland. HARDI's will be on Exploring the Societal Impact, a poetic reflection on the second coming amidst pandemic. HIRAL's will be on Desire's Debris, from Gatsby to Gullies. Joy Marunia's will be on Comparative Analysis of Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby and Baz Luhrmann's film adaptation. Jayashree on Unraveling the Myths, exploring literary allusions in T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. Kavita's on the vivid spectrum of colors in The Great Gatsby. Kusum's on Chasing Dreams, decoding the green light in The Great Gatsby. Maya will make it on Echoes of the Ancestors, literary reverberations in Yeats's The Second Coming. C should be capital. I was feeling happy that I don't have to pinpoint anybody about the title, but there should be one namuna always left out, that you have to always tell the same thing repeatedly again and again. In title Second Coming, C should be capital. As you know that I copy paste this for YouTube and other things, so this mistake gets reflected everywhere, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. These typo errors will be multiplied, so you have to be careful in that. Nanda will make it on Diving Deep into the Second Coming by W.B. Yeats, and last one will be by Vishwa, Exploring the Intersections of Fantasy and Reality in Orlando. These words like the, there is no need to keep it capital. The linking words need not be capitalized. Key words should be capitalized in the title. Okay, so this will be the presentations. You all have submitted your presentations in the Google Classroom, and yeah, so in this group you have submitted your presentations here, and you will be playing the PPTs from the Google Classroom. After that, a reminder that you will visit this blog for online rubric for oral presentations, and will do peer and self-evaluation in this form. Peer and self-evaluation of your group you will be doing after that. And once that is done, you will also put a timestamp of the live video recording in the spreadsheet that is given. So that will be the follow-up work after making the presentation. So let us start with the first one today. Yes, Akash, you can start.
I will begin my presentation of the semester 2 presentation of the first day. My topic is Fitzgerald's critique of the American dream in The Great Gatsby. These things we will cover in this presentation, starting with the brief overview of Fitzgerald. Full names, Fitzgerald's full name is Francis Scott Key Fitzgerald, and he was acclaimed American novelist and short story writer, and famous for his depiction of jazz age in his works, and he has coined this term as well. And he was also the war veteran of the First World War in America, so he knew in and around the people and background of the American people and disillusionment during the war. And also by this time he was writing, he was started writing The Great Gatsby, and the American dream, the myth of American dream started growing its roots in the America. And Fitzgerald is admired for his skill and accuracy, which depicted his era, for the beauty and the artistry of his style. And Arthur Misner, one of his biographers, remarks on him that the curious way in which he combined the innocence of complete involvement with the almost scientific coolness of the observation. So, historical context of the America. James Truslow Adams, in his books The Epic of America, defines the America on the backdrop of the crisis in 1930 of the Great Depression, that the dream of land in which life should be better, richer, and fuller for everyone, with opportunity for each according to ability or achievement. Here the term richer, which means according to Adams, is spiritual connotation, not the materialistic connotation. But the American dream is reduced to the materialistic pursuit in nowadays, and also in the Fitzgerald's work, The Great Gatsby. According to him, it is an image of peaceful, collective, enlightened self-improvement. That is the American dream, according to the man who gave this phrase. But Adams conclude that America had lost its way by prizing the material success and material value above all other things. So the American dream was first invented, in other words, to describe a failure. The moment you start the materialistic pursuit of American dream, it is being corrupted and it is considered as a failure of American dream. There is one thing, that is equality for opportunity for all of one. But in this capitalistic environment where companies are at competition with each other, there is no equal opportunity for anyone. So I Have a Dream is a particular one of the iconic speech of the Martin Luther King Jr., though not directly connected with the novel. But if we are to critique American dream, we have to refer this. And this also critiques the equality point of equality in the American dream, that there is American dream is only available for the those people who are belonging to America, and there are always it is not available. It is said that it is not available for the immigrant people and the marginalized people, and there is a racial connotation as well. That Black American people do not have the freedom to acquire achieve the American dream. So here I have tried to put one question, that in what capacity do materialism and consumerism serve the vehicle to critique the American dream? Because Fitzgerald used main two things Fitzgerald used in critiquing the American dream in this novel is the materialism and the consumerism. So American Dream and The Great Gatsby. This novel offers one of the severest criticism and one of the closest criticism of the American dream. And in the American dream is a recurring theme of the American literature that you can find in most of the American writers, if you take Arthur Miller or Ernest Hemingway or the Fitzgerald himself. But in the other works, if take instance of the Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, in which the protagonist strives to become wealthy, and he thinks that if he become wealthy, then he will achieve the American dream and he will be happy. On the other hand, if we see this work of Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby, in which the characters like Buchanan's and the Gatsby is already wealthy, yet there is no happiness in their life. So Fitzgerald here critiques that achieving American dream will make you happy is not the thing. J. Gatsby, An American Dream. J. Gatsby is Fitzgerald set Jimmy Gates out on the right path. From the childhood, J. Gatsby was aspired to achieve the American dream, and it was kind of an ideal American dream that envisioned by the Adams, that on the basis of hard work and integrity. But after meeting Daisy, his vision of American dream was distorted, and he was started to gaining materialistic pursuits. And Daisy's lifestyle has distorted his ideal vision of American dream, and it is reduced merely to the materialistic pursuits. So further, James Truslow Adams says that it is not a dream of motor cars and high wages. Here you can see the Gatsby's yellow Rolls Royce. We see that he time and again drives his car, and which is the symbolism of his fortune that he tries to showcase. And at the time, during the 1920s era, in the Jazz age, this kind of vehicle is a symbol of the higher class people, and by which the Gatsby wanted to show off his class and his wealth. Roger L. Pearson, in his article, Gatsby, the False Prophet, argues that Fitzgerald uses varying symbolic imagery, the imagery of biblical allusion, that in which Gatsby is described as a son of a god, not a god of, not son of a god, not a Christ god, which stands for the spirituality, but a god of pagan, Mammon, which stands for greed or materialistic pursuits. So, and Gatsby represented as a perverted god, dedicated to materialistic means, and value of ashes is connected to the biblical value of Hinnom outside the Jerusalem, where the idolatrous pagan worship took place, and the American dream in the 1920s became corrupted in shallow materialism. Gatsby and Woolf, this particular association is one of the key aspects to critique the American dream, and by this association we can say that Gatsby's American dream was very much corrupted. The Mayor Wolfsham was one of the men who fixed the 1990s World Series, and by his shady past we can see that he is not a good character. Yet he says that he made Gatsby. He made the Gatsby, that which means that all of the wealth and the money of the Gatsby is somewhere hand of Mayor Wolfsham, and he was acting as a kind of a mentor to Gatsby. And the passage of the 18th Amendment in 1990, which banned the sale of alcohol, created a thriving underworld. Humans have a tendency to to desire for what is not available to them, and it was the time there of the liquor. The Gatsby was engaged in a liquor business and bootlegging of the liquor. And Fitzgerald points the character of the Great Gatsby as element of these social trends. And there we can see that the parties, the people who come at the parties, who are very much interested in the knowing about the past of the Gatsby. Maybe because they wants to know that whether the money was made ethically good or bad. And maybe this reason the people on the West, people on the Aztec, which are considered as old money people, they do not respect these new money people, because they knew that the newly rich people acquired the easy money from the bootlegging of the liquor. And Mayor Wolfsham and Gatsby's fortune symbolizes the rise of organized crime and bootlegging. Critique of consumerism. It is one of the important and key aspects to criticize the American dream in this novel. Consumerism simply denotes the tendency of people to buy and acquire the things which serves their purpose, which fulfills the purpose, not their need. The rise of the stock market in aftermath of the war led to the sudden sustained increase in the national wealth, and easy money was coming due to the bootlegging and all that things. And Fitzgerald uses Wilson's to illustrate these ends of spectrum of the effect of consumerism. Particularly, Myrtle's character was associated with the consumerism. Her affair with the Tom Buchanan is a symbol of the consumerism, because by having an affair with him, she thinks that she is able to acquire anything. She spends money and all. All these things. And Myrtle's attitude towards spending money is representative of the increasing consumerism in the American post-World War period. And Myrtle also complains about the George, that he is not a wealthy man. George lied to him during her wedding, and he did not have to buy the marriage suit of them as well. Despite her working class status, Myrtle still dreams of the living privileged lifestyle like any other consumers. And Gatsby's extravagant parties and luxurious lifestyle also stands for the consumerism as well. Okay, so Daisy and Myrtle's American dream. So Daisy's dream, much like the J. Gatsby's dream, is associated with the acquiring wealth and all the things. And for that, he married. She married with the Tom Buchanan, a wealthy person. Tom and Daisy's relationship is not to most ideal and happy relationship, and her amoral acceptance of the Tom's infidelity and crimes reflect the moral decline in her character. And Fitzgerald also made her psychologically desirable, an unattainable princess. In a white palace, the king's daughter, the golden girl, and her voice is full of money. So she was also like the Gatsby, uh, was in pursuit of the materialistic aspects of the American dream. And by this, Fitzgerald made a criticism on the all the aristocratic of the America at that time. And Myrtle, as we have seen, that she was the American consumer, and her American dream was also there. So, in conclusion, Fitzgerald shows the tragic story of the J. Gatsby and how American dream leaves the people feeling morally empty and shallow from inside. And Fitzgerald also critiqued the darker aspects and negative aspects of the American dream through the materialistics and consumerist ambition depicted in the pursuit of Myrtle, Daisy, and J. Gatsby. And death of the Gatsby and the Myrtle symbolizes the failure of the American dream. So these are some references. Thank you. Now you can ask me questions.
Akash, what symbols does Fitzgerald use to critique the shallow materialisms of the Sazians?
As I was saying, that the symbols like the green light and all the things, and particularly this viewport, the eyes of T.J. Ecclesburg also is the what we can see is the constant gaze of the consumerism upon the value of ashes and the people of value of ashes and all the things. And materialism we see in the Gatsby's pursuit, and all of the character, if we take J. Gatsby or Myrtle or Tom Buchanan, all of them were pursuing the material aspects of the American dream. So he used this imagery, and also we have seen the biblical imagery as well, where he connected with the Son of God, who is a pagan god, and he was pursuing the materialistic aspects of American dream.
Fitzgerald's critique of the American dream still resonant today?
Yes, it does still resonate today, because the dream envisioned by the Adams was of full equal opportunity to all of the people. But in this, we can see the capitalistic peoples are everywhere, and particularly America was the capitalistic company of hubs, where we cannot find the equal opportunity to all of the people. And right now, as Sarah Churchwell also said in one of his articles, that American dream is only available to 1% of people, and 99% of the people are in disillusionment or the failure of the American dream. So because of the capitalism and all that things, people's mindset becomes more and more narrowed down towards the materialistic aspect of the American dream. So it does resonate today. Thank you.
Mic properly standing presence, that the voice will be captured. Microphone standing. Only that the microphone is next to
Hello everyone, a very good morning to all of you. I'm NIMBARK and today I'm here with the presentation of a comparative study of Gatsby and Devdas Mukherjee. In this presentation, I'm comparing the character of Gatsby from the novel The Great Gatsby with Devdas Mukherjee from the movie Devdas. Here's my personal information, the table of content. Let's see the quick overview of The Great Gatsby. The genre of the novel, The Great Gatsby, is a tragic novel. It is written by F. Scott Fitzgerald. It's published on 10th April 1925 in United States. And setting of the novel is the judges on Long Island, near New York City. Let's see a quick overview of movie Devdas. So, Devdas movie is originally based on Devdas by Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay and released in the year of 2002. The movie is directed by Sanjay Leela Bansali, produced by Bharat Shah, and major cast of the movie is Shah Rukh Khan as Devdas Mukherjee, Aishwarya Rai Bachchan as a Paro, and Madhuri Dixit as a Chandramukhi. Let's see the character of Gatsby. So, in the novel, Gatsby are protagonist of the novel. Is an ambitious and determined person. Is ambitious and determined to win back his love of life, his beloved Daisy Buchanan. His background is mysterious. He became wealthy suddenly after his class conflict. His outlook is optimistic. His love is obsessive. He cannot achieve his life of love of his life. Daisy Buchanan. He is lonely and isolation after his beloved Daisy Buchanan left him out, and he is a tragic hero of the novel. Character of Devdas Mukherjee. So Devdas Mukherjee is highly sensitive and emotional to his beloved Paro and struggle with his self-expression. He is not able to express his feeling to his beloved. Self-destructive behavior he has, fatalistic outlook, sense of isolation, and he is also longing for the lost love like Gatsby. So here is a comparison of Gatsby and Devdas Mukherjee. So some similarities that are found in both the characters: obsessive love, wealth and social status, tragic flaws, isolation and loneliness. So obsessive love, in Gatsby's case, he is obsessed with winning back Daisy Buchanan, and Devdas is consumed by desire to reunite with Paro. Wealth and social status. Gatsby was wealthy and influential in 1920s America, and Devdas was born into a wealthy family in colonial India. So Devdas was belong in a wealthy Bengali family. Tragic flaws in Gatsby's case: inability to let go the past, obsessive pursuit of Daisy, and Devdas' inability to confront his own feeling, fatalistic outlook, isolation and loneliness. So Gatsby, despite wealth, experiences profound loneliness, and Devdas struggles with inner conflict, feels isolated. He cannot express his love for his beloved Paro. So let's see some differences between both the characters. So cultural context, motivation, means of expression, tragic end. In Gatsby's case, cultural context was different in both the character. Gatsby is set in 1920s jazz age of America, and Devdas Mukherjee in the movie set in colonial India during late 19th century. Motivated by love for Daisy Buchanan, and Devdas is motivated by his love for power, means of expression. Gatsby, outwardly expressive, uses wealth and status to attract Daisy, and Devdas internally conflict resort to self-destructive behavior, tragic end. So both the character in the novel Gatsby and in the movie Devdas Mukherjee, they both have tragic end. Gatsby shot and killed by George Wilson, and Devdas Mukherjee dies from illness and alcohol poisoning, because after his beloved Paro left him out, he became an alcoholic person. In the conclusion, comparing Gatsby and Devdas Mukherjee sheds light on both similarities and differences in their tragic tales. Both characters share common threads of obsessive love, wealth, societal status, tragic flaws, and feeling of isolation. Yet they inhabit different cultural landscapes and face unique challenges. Gatsby's relentless pursuit of the American dream ultimately leads to disillusionment, while Devdas grapples with societal expectations in colonial India, succumbing to self-destruction despite their separate path. Their stories resonate with the universal theme of love, loss, and the complexities of the human experience. In instance, exploring these characters offer valuable insight into the enduring power of tragic narratives across cultural and time periods, reminding us of the timeless truth they illuminate. These are some references. Thank you very much. Now for any questions.
Akshay, my question is, are there any other characters from the movie similar to the characters of the Great Gatsby?
For other characters, we can consider Paro with Daisy Buchanan. They both plays vital role in the protagonist of our novel Gatsby's life. Is Daisy Buchanan, and Paro is in the movie with Devdas.
So, could Devdas be considered a representation of Indian culture in a manner similar to how Gatsby embodies the spirit of 1920s America?
Yes, Devdas and Gatsby, they both represent their different culture. Gatsby represent his American culture of 1920s, especially the jazz age of America, and express economical condition of America. And Devdas also represent the Indian respective culture and family dynamics and class conflicts.
Hello everyone, I am GOHIL, and today I will present a feminist perspective on Orlando by Virginia Woolf. So we are interrogating gender constructs, a feminist analysis of Virginia Woolf's Orlando. These are my academic information. So let us begin with the introduction of the author, Virginia Woolf. She is a writer, essayist, and a feminist. Her notable works include Mrs. Dalloway, To the Lighthouse, Orlando, A Room of One's Own. The key themes seen in her works are modernism, feminism, and stream of consciousness. She is renowned for her innovative narrative techniques, exploration of gender identity, and contribution to feminist literature. This is one of her remarkable quotes that for most of history, Anonymous was a woman. That most of history, women were not allowed to write. And because of that, when the women written work were published as anonymous. Let me introduce you to the work Orlando. It is the genre of the novel is fantasy and satire, published in the year 1928. The setting is of several centuries, from Elizabethan era to the early 20th century. The plot follows the fantastical journey of Orlando, a young nobleman who lives for centuries and undergoes a mysterious transformation from male to female. The novel explores themes of gender identity, love, history, and the passage of time. The style is experimental narrative technique, including stream of consciousness and metafiction. One remarkable thing about this novel is representation of gender. The gender-switching protagonist, Orlando, subverts the gender norms. We see that even after changing from a man to woman, Orlando remains in the essence the same character, the same personality, the same traits. This idea aligns with the idea of gender performativity given by Judith Butler. That idea is that gender is not an inherent quality linked to biological sex, but something that is continuously created through action and behavior. So gender is most likely created by the society and through norms. And it is not inherited or towards a specific person. So it's not a binary, but it's a spectrum. Through Orlando, we see Virginia Woolf is questioning and deconstructing the rigid gender roles imposed by the society. She also challenges gender roles through other characters. We see the character of Russian Princess Sasha. She lives in the Elizabethan time and comes early on in the novel. But she lives in a very restricted society. But we see that she has a masculine energy about her, and that is what makes her different than other women to Orlando at the first glance. And we see she's breaking the stereotypical gender roles. She is seen cross-dressing. She lives her life out loud, we could say. She dances on the ice. She walks alone at night. And even in her relationship with Orlando, she possesses most control. She leaves him when she feels like it. So she is this breaking of stereotypical gender roles. Other than that, we have Archduke Harry. He was in love with Orlando, and when Orlando was a man. So because of that, Archduke had to disguise himself as Archduchess Henrietta. And through him, we see homosexuality and gender fluidity. And other than that, we see a strong critical approach to patriarchal society in Virginia Woolf's work. We see this through Orlando's gender change and the different treatment he gets from the society. We see how when he becomes a woman in his own estate, the servants treat him differently. This is seen in a passage from the novel. And I shall never be able to crack a man over the head, or tell him he lies in his sleep, or draw my sword and run him through the body, or sit among my peers, or wear a coronet, or walk in procession, or sentence a man to death, or lead an army, or prance down Whitehall on a charger, or wear 72 different medals on my breast. All I can do, once I set foot on English soil, is to pour out tea and ask my lords how they like it. So this shows the reality of being a woman of that time. And we see later in the novel Orlando breaking all these rules, and he is controlling and having some power, again through disguises. Whenever he wants to roam around freely, he dresses as a man. When he feels like it, and when he wants to attend parties and all, he dresses as a woman. And so we see him living as an independent figure. Later, when he becomes a woman, he gets a proposal from Archduke Harry, and he rejects it in order to live an independent life. So through this novel, we see the establishing of equality. Whenever we talk about feminism, the first thing people think is that it is about proving superiority of genders. But we must remember that it is not a competition. And Virginia Woolf is not trying to prove any sort of superiority. Both genders possess different nature and different characteristics. And in her study on feminist Orlando from a feminist point of view, Spanish scholar Pernas says that Orlando followed being a man and being a woman. For him, there were no limits between both sexes. It was a question of the essence of being, equal in both sexes. Orlando behaved politely with the rest of the people, but not thinking if she was a man or a woman. She did not need a man to get engaged with, and she wears the clothes that she liked or enjoyed wearing at that moment. Other than that, we see that Orlando is a masterpiece work in celebrating women's creativity. Jane Tighe says in her article that Orlando is Virginia Woolf's attempt to rewrite history by tracing a lineage for 20th century women writers back to the liberating spirit of the Renaissance era. In Virginia Woolf's own word, we should be thinking back through our mothers. So Orlando can be said to be tracing of the female tradition in literature. And the gender-changing protagonist, Orlando, living for over 350 years, explores how gender affected the experience and condition for writers across different periods. So to conclude, we see that Orlando possesses many principles of feminism, like gender inclusivity, social justice, and equality. The amplification of marginalized voice is also seen in Orlando. Orlando serves as a feminist text that challenges traditional gender norms, critiques the oppressive power structures, and reimagines history from a feminist perspective. The impact of Orlando is not limited to the literary sphere and influences perception of gender and identity on a broader societal context as well. These were my references, and thank you. Now for any questions.
Bhumi, how does Orlando contribute to ongoing discussion about gender fluidity, identity, and representation in contemporary literature and society?
I think Orlando is a more progressive work when we see that in the time period it was written, and it should serve as an inspiration for today's contemporary writers and contemporary critics as well, that this was imagined in that time. So I would say it serves as an inspiration, and we must learn from it. Contemporary writers must learn from it.
Bhumi, how did Virginia Woolf's exploration of gender and sexuality intersect with theme of LGBTQ identity in her works?
We see this through the characters of Orlando, and as well as I said, the Russian princess Sasha, the Archduke Harry and Henrietta, presenting himself as Henrietta. So through all these characters, we see this. Thank you.
Very good morning, everyone. I am Darshan and I am here with the presentation on William Butler Yeats, The Alchemist of Symbolism. Here is my personal information. This is the table of the content. So, William Butler Yeats was an Irish poet born in 1865. He was awarded with the Nobel Prize. Yeats is a significant figure in the 20th century. And he was known for his symbolic and mystical themes. He was instrumental in the Irish literary revival. Here are his key works. So, what is symbolism? Symbolism is a literary technique that uses concrete objects or ideas to represent abstract ideas or emotions. Symbolism can be layered with the meaning, inviting interpretations from the readers. Symbolism is a hallmark of modernist poetry, and Yeats is considered a key figure in this movement. The importance of symbolism in modern literature is emphasized with many deep thinkers exploring the philosophy of poetry through symbolism. Symbols criticism of the notion that serious artists shouldn't have philosophy or theory about their art is discussed. And it is argued that understanding the philosophy or critical aspect of art is crucial for artists to bring out their most powerful inspirations from the divine or hidden truths. So Yeats was a master in symbolism, and he was proud of being Irish and used his Nobel Prize to show Ireland's culture, independence, and nationalism. In his poems like The Second Coming and Byzantium, Yeats used symbolism like moon and golden bird to talk about big ideas like life and death. Yeats believed that poetry should sound good and use symbolism to make people think about different meanings. Through his poems, Yeats explored how people try to find meaning in life and how they connect with the things beyond just physical world. Some of his recurring symbols in his works are the rose, the tower, the mask, and the gyre. So the rose often represents the beauty, love, and passion, but can also symbolize fleeting youth and lost innocence. The tower can represent solitude, strength, and isolation, but also a piece of refuge and contemplation. The gyre represents a double cone representing the cyclic nature of history and life. The mask represents the hidden self, performance, and artifice. So, in his most famous work, The Second Coming, which is in our syllabus, is filled with potent symbolism. In this, the slouching beast symbolized the decline of civilization and the coming of new era. The gyre represents the cycle nature of history, suggesting that chaos will eventually give way to order. This poem's imagery is both terrifying and exhilarating, capturing the anxieties and hopes of the early 20th century. So, in conclusion, Yeats is a great symbolist poet in English literature. He uses symbols a lot in his poems, and knowing Yeats symbolized like knowing Yeats himself because he reveals himself through these symbols. These are my references, and now you can ask me more questions.
Darshan, do you see another symbolic writer like Yeats in English literature?
The first person pops up in my mind by reading this question is T.S. Eliot, which is also a contemporary to Yeats, and another I would say William Shakespeare.
Darshan, how do you think Yeats' legacy as an alchemist of symbolism continues to influence modern literature and poetry?
So Yeats' uses of mystical themes and deep meaning can inspire modern writers to explore the complex ideas through imagery, and it can provide richness to their work in modern literature. Thank you.
Good question after the presentation. Not in advance, you don't have to keep the questions ready. So to listen carefully first, and from that the question should be first. What is the presenter presenting that you have to take note of, and on base of that you have to ask. Most of the time you are asking random questions. Any question that comes you are asking, but you have to say that this is what you say. Based on that, what you have to say about this.
Yes. Hello everyone, I'm DHATRI and today's my topic of presentation is Beauty Amidst the Bytes, Unearthing Unexpected Advantages of Digital Wasteland. T.S. Eliot's modern epic, The Wasteland, is known for its complex structure, which made it highly hard to read. And in that context, technology helps us to interpret it and understand it in a better way. Digital age of the hypertext adaptation of the digital Wasteland allows readers to go through the multiple links at the one particular screen. The emergence of digital Wasteland, digital revolution paved the way for making a hypertext adaptation of digital Wasteland. And in one article, Poetry as Hypertext, Milton, Eliot, and Possibilities of Intertextuality Today, the critics or the article writers argue that Eliot uses more than 100 allusions in the West that makes this poem complex. And what is the advantages of digital West? The very first advantages of it is it gives the interactive platform and which make it more easier to go through the multiple links. It also provides multiple interpretation and multimedia elements which make it more easier to grasp the main idea of the poem. Digital Wasteland is a fertile ground, like a data, technologies, and abundance website make it more easier to understand the Wasteland. In the article, the Wasteland, collage hypertext and notes of meaning, James Barrett tells that a fertile ground for artistic expression and cultural preservation is and historical excavation made by this digital adaptation of the Wasteland. Its metonymic structure, especially, makes it's a complex, and in that way, this web of references available in the single screen make it easier to understand, and the clickable links and parallel reading provides the reader all the illusion at the one particular platform, and it also helps to interpret more easily in that way. It also provides archaeological excavation like annotations, contextual sources, and multimedia elements make it available with the original text, which makes it quite easier. And I had used this. So that these all links are clickable. So by clicking on that links, you get another website which is cross-reference, which is there. And by clicking that links, you go to direct that all the references which are there, and which also provides the deeper understanding of that. So if you touch any of these, so you get the interpretation of that particular link, which makes it more easier for a reader. On the other hand, it also provides an access to so many resources, and it's also like a preservation. So you do not have to go multiple platforms, and you do not have to go to multiple books to find what references Eliot uses in that. Most importantly, it is accessibility provides for students. It provides crucial annotations, which makes easier for students especially to grasp the complex poem of the Wasteland, and it also captures the experimentation with time and space, which Eliot uses, and these hypertext adaptations also had a similar kind of that. So it also have a cross-referencing, which gives us the motives and a chronological span in that. Another most important feature of these Wasteland is this map-like navigation, and it is providing us a virtual map, and it enables readers to go to the particular location, and with that location, they are able to. There are also providation of the links. I think it is not working, but there are with this map-like navigation, they also provide the lines which is there in Wasteland and the location. So in this image, you can find that whatever the highlighted location is there, with that location, there is the emergence of lines. So which line highlighted the location, and you can go to that place. So it makes clear in the reader that what places are used in the poem The Wasteland. Another advantages of it. Another is the keywords in hypertext, which is a significance, and it symbols narrative structure. So all these keywords are making accessible for readers, that by the keywords, readers get the what the main significance of that, or what is the main symbolism of that. So by these words, you are getting the what is the essence of their words. For example, if you go for the rat, then you get the what are the references of that? Like a rat's alley, a rat creates softly through the vegetation. So whatever the lines are there, they are also putting here. So it is quite an advantage for this adaptation of the digital wasteland. And another is the illusion enhancement. So readers get all the illusions at one platform. So it makes the accessible for everyone and easier to understand. There are some limitations which we have to look while we are talking about the digital adaptation. Of course, there is a restriction of interpretive freedom, like there is already available interpretation. So it may create limitation in the readers because they are just binding to that kind of interpretation. Another is over reliance of existing scholarship. They are not searching for another interpretation that can be possible. Third can be distraction and fragmentation, because there are multiple websites are available, multiple hyperlinks are available. So maybe readers get distracted and they go through another links. So maybe that creates a kind of a distraction for the readers. Another is a contradiction of authorial vision, like what Eliot wants to say, that can be vary by the scholars. So that also creates a kind of that limited the what the view is there. And another which is quite genuine, that technological limitation, like accessible issue or compatible issue or network issue, that is there. But in this world of we are going through the 5G, so nowadays it is easier to access all this kind of a website for better understanding of that. So in the conclusion, within this virtual expenses and technologies, this Wasteland is become much more easier to understand because of this hypertext version of digital Wasteland is available. And critics, like they are already mentioned that in 1922 wanted to decipher all the illusion in Wasteland. They needed to spend many hours in huge libraries, and that were to be found only in a few cities in the world. So it was not possible, because if you want to find all the illusion, you have to go through the multiple libraries and multiple books in 1922. But for present readers and present scholars, it is easy. Nearly 100 years later, in 2021, it is based on 2021, but in 2023 too, the sources too many of the Wasteland's illusion are only a few clicks away. So within few clicks, we get all the information related to the Wasteland. So with the help of technology and the evolution of the technology, readers, especially students and scholars, get easily understand what the gist of the poem and what the themes and what the ideas of the poem lies in that, with the help of multiple references and allusions as well. Yes, that's this is my references, and feel free to ask if you have any question.
So I think my question is, how has digital content and online platforms changed our ideals of beauty, offering new pathways for self-expression and inclusivity?
In the context of a Wasteland, if we talk, then it provides the colors in the website. So it, rather than reading from the pages, which is black and white or maybe colorful, the beauty of the screen or the colors of the screen helps to reader to multiple times visit the site. So that may be something kind of become the attraction for the reader to come and visit the websites. So I think that beauty can offer a new pathway. And then also another thing is that nowadays readers, scholars are getting the interactivity on the websites. So that also you get the platform to share your views regarding that thing. So in a way that also leads readers or users to come and share their views. So in this like interactivity and the visualization of the screen, both plays a vital role in digital content and online platforms about the beauty and the self-expression.
Tatri, my question is, what do you think Eliot's reaction would be to digital wasteland?
Okay, so if we look at the setting of the 20th century, writers are escaping and creating some kind of literature so that the normal readers cannot understand what he wants to say. And as we studied in that, so in that way, it would be risky for the Eliot to having a digital wasteland, because he wants readers or only scholars readers who understand his works. And in this era of digital wasteland, if he would be here, he had to find a new ways to write more complex poems. Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, myself VHORA, and today I'm going to present Exploring the Societal Impact, Poetic Reflection on Second Coming Amidst Pandemic. Here my personal information, table of content, introduction of W. Yeats. William Butler Yeats, born in June 13, 1865, Sandymount, Dublin, Ireland, died on January 28, 1939. Roquebrune, Cape Martin, France. Occupations are Irish poet, dramatist, and prose writer. He won Nobel Prize in Literature, recipient in 1923. W. Yeats, The Second Coming, penned in 1919, post World War I. It presents an enigmatic alternative to Christian prophecy. Here is the central concept of the poem and societal impact. First is the establishment of kingdom. In the poem, Jesus is expected to establish his kingdom upon his return. Judgment of enemies. He will judge his enemies as a part of his second coming. Reward for the faithful. The faithful, both living and dead, will be rewarded. Imminent advent. Early Christians believed that the second coming of Jesus was imminent. Emergency expectation. Most Christian theologians believe that Jesus' visibly appearance could happen at any moment, or emphasizing the need for a readiness. By biblical evidence, evidence for the second coming is found in various biblical sources, such as the Gospels, the Book of Revelation of the tradition source. Last Judgment is the second coming is closely associated with the concept of the Last Judgment. Here is the social impact of poem. Its chaotic world resonates in times of uncertainty. It also reflects the post-World War disillusionment with the traditional values. It symbolized rough beasts, and gyre symbolized the societal fears and change. In the poem quoted in literature, music, film, shaping discourse on apocalypse, critics of authoritarianism warn against unchecked power, and it sparks discussion on spirituality and crisis morality. It also studied globally for language, imagery, and timeless themes. Also, there is a themes of chaos, and the research for a meaning resonates amid modern challenges like climate change and political polarization. Here is a poetic psychological impact or reflection of the poem. The sense of chaos or disorder. Things in the line, things fall apart. The center cannot hold. It reflects the Yeats' anxiety about societal background. Second one is apocalyptic imagery. Second coming, rough beast conveys impending doom, cataclysmic change reflects its unseas. Loss of faith or spirituality. Faulkner imagery suggests crisis of faith, lack of spiritual guidance. Cyclical view of history. Second coming hints as at a new era or a rebirth, showing its search for meaning or order amid chaos. Existential angst, overall tone of the foreboding uncertainty reflects its grappling with fundamental human questions. Inner turmoil poem is a psychological reflection of Yeats' fear, doubt, and struggles in the rapidly changed world. In the essence, the poem captures Yeats' psychological state of anxieties, disillusionment, and the quest for meaning or order in the face of perceived societal disintegration. The second coming amidst a pandemic. What is the meaning of the pandemic? An outbreak for a disease that occurs over a wide geographic area, such as multiple countries, is a continents, and typically affects a significant proportion of the population. The second coming by W.B.'s written in the aftermath of World War I and the Spanish flu pandemic, reflects the chaos and uncertainty of its time. Yeats uses symbolic language and describes a world in turmoil where the traditional values and structures are collapsing into something ominous on the horizon. Amidst the pandemic, the poem's imagery of rough beasts slouching towards battlement suggests the arrival of a new darker era. This resonates with the sense of unease and fear prevalent during the pandemic as the people face the uncertain future. Overall, the second coming captures the anxieties and disruption of its time and offering a powerful commentary on the human condition amidst crisis. According to the article of Elizabeth Alka, the book looks at the small group of authors who addressed the pandemic head in their work, but also argues that the work of some of the greats like T.S. Eliot, Virginia Woolf, and William Butler Yeats was deeply affected by the flu in the ways that aren't so immediately obvious. Combining literary analysis with flu history and writing by flu survivors, outcome makes it clear that the pandemic wasn't forgotten. It just went underground. So, for example, the Yeats poem, The Second Coming, that's the one, the stars, line, first line, turning in the winding gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. That's the canonical poem he wrote in the 1990 and has been read quite rightly, as a sort of a poem that captures the terrible aftermath of World War and all the revolutions that were going on at the time and political violence in Ireland that black and tans all this violence. In continuation, but in the weeks preceding his writing of the poem, his wife George, who was pregnant, caught the virus and was very close to death. The highest death rates of 1918 to 1919 pandemic were among pregnant women in some areas. It was an up to 70% death rate in this woman. Just really terrible. He was watching this happen, and while his wife was convalescing, he sits down and writes The Second Coming. When you read it through the lens of the pandemic, this other poem being to emerge, you could see the way such a poem could resonate with people who have experienced the pandemic. This atmosphere, things are falling apart. The center cannot hold an atmosphere of mere anarchy loosed upon the world. In the thread of that first stanza, in the passive voice, right? The blood dimmed tide is loosed. The ceremony of innocence is drowned. This amor first thread coalesces into the vague sort of lurking beast at the end. It's a terrific description of the pandemic. The specific imagery, like the blood-tinged tide, when one of the most frequent effects, this flu was bleeding from the nose, mouth, and ear, just floods of blood, and then the way people drowned in their beds from the lungs filling with a fluid. And he has a line about the ceremony of innocence being drowned. When it's his wife and unborn baby who were in the process of the drowning like that. Resilience and adaptation. In W.B.'s poem, The Second Coming, resilience and the adaptation are depicted through the chaos and uncertainty of the world. The poem describes a sense of impending catastrophe and the breakdown of the order symbolized by image and such as the things fall apart and anarchy is loosed upon the world. However, amidst this turmoil, this is the suggestion of resilience and adaptation in the form of rough beast slouching towards battlement, representing a new order emerging from the old. This resilience and adaptation can be interpreted as the humanity's ability to endure, evolve in the face of adversity, finding new ways to navigate the changing landscape of the world. In a conclusion, exploring the societal impact of the Second Coming amidst a pandemic through the poetic reflection reveals a profound interweaving of existential crisis on resilience. The exploration underscores the humanity's collective vulnerability, urging introduction of the societal values and priorities as the pandemic challenges societal norms, and the poetic lens of illuminates themes of hope, fear, and transition, prompting a deeper understanding of human interconnectedness and the quest of meaning amidst chaos. Ultimately, the poetic inquiry invites the contemplation on the profound implications of such as the unprecedented convergence, highlighting the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. So here are my references. Thank you. If you have questions.
So, Hardi, my question is, how does Yeats' poetry reflect the societal mood after World War I?
His poetry reflects so many kind of disillusionments, themes of chaotic world, and all the things after World War I.
Hadi, my question is for you. Is there any possibility of interpreting the Second Coming as a reflection on COVID-19 pandemic?
Yes, there is a possibility we can interpret the Second Coming as a reflection of COVID-19 because at the era of WBs, we can also observe that at that time societal collapses societal collapses and other things or disillusionments and we recently years back have experienced we had suffered from the COVID-19 disease also, and at that time there were so many kind of disillusionments and some kind of societal problematic societal impacts uh, uh, like lockdowns and all other things. So that's why we can interpreting both the things like pandemic. Thank you.
So hello everyone, I am HIRAL and I am going to deal with the topic of desires debris from Gatsby to gullies. So personal information, the points to ponder which I am going to deal with. So introduction and character studies. So the character of J. Gatsby and Murad Ahmed. So the literary work of J. Gatsby is The Great Gatsby, and the Murad Ahmed is the main protagonist and hero of Gully Boy. So the time period of J. Gatsby is early 19th century of England, and the exact time of story is 1922. And the Murad Ahmed's exact time story is 2010 and the modern India. So the cultural background of the J. Gatsby is the jazz age or roaring 20s of America, and the Murad Ahmed's cultural background is contemporary urban India and also the portrayals of struggles of slum youth. So the relationship with women is J. Gatsby's relation with Daisy Buchanan and Murad Ahmed's relationship with Safina Firdausi. So the character study of J. Gatsby, he is very ambitious towards the wealthy life and like lavish life and all that parties. We earlier watched that movie and we observed that all the things. So his profile is mysterious in the all the movies, all the adaptations, and in the whole adaptation and whole the novel, his profile is mysterious from beginning to ending. So he is reinvented, like he is belonging from a very poor lifestyle, and he dreaming to be a uh, rich man, and he is very like aspirational also. So he wants to very be to be a very rich person and achieve his love. So the character study of Murad Ahmed, he is very determined towards his dreams and rich life. Also, he is very creative. We can observe in the movie Gully Boy that he is very creative because the hip hop song and the lyric and the script writing is not easy as we can think about that. So he is very creative in that manner. He is also self-made. We can see that J. Gatsby is not that much self-made because he achieved that money from that another man. But the Murad Ahmed is not the like J. Gatsby. He is a self-made man, and he is also a passionate dreamer because he wants to get out from that slum area and that slavery and all that life. So the cultural overview of the Great Gatsby time, it's the Roaring Twenties. We observe that in the adaptation and in the novel also that in that times the party era and all that thing, the jazz age we also called it because in that time era, the all the parties and the music of that time, the moral decay. So in that time, the J. Gatsby and all the wealthy people, they don't have any moral issues. They are doing all the wrong things, like all affairs and all the financial things also. So the materialism also, that all the people of that time, they are loving the materialistic things more than the morality. So the prohibition also there in that age. So in the gully boy cultural overview, so youth culture and identity, we saw in that movie that the culture of that time, or in that movie, we saw that more youth are doing all the jobs and all that thing, but they are not much more interpreted in their dreams. So the socio-economics inequality. So we saw in that movie that Murad Ahmed is from the slum area, and his defending party is much is wealthier parties. So hip hop and rap culture, the basically the Gully Boy movie is the basis on this hip hop and rap culture. So aspiration and dreams. So in this cultural background, so the dreams and aspiration is towards a wealthier life. Family and tradition. So the Murad Ahmed's family and tradition is belonging from very slum or very slave family. So the illusion clash with bitter truths. In the the Gatsby idealized view of Daisy conflicts with her true nature and the corruption of the wealthy. Gully Boy Murad's dreams collide with the harsh reality of poverty and societal barriers. So the different endings, the Gatsby's pursuit ends sadly highlighting the gap between his dreams and reality in seeking wealth and love. In Gully Boys, Murad's journey results in personal growth, bringing him closer to turning his dreams into reality. So in the conclusion, Great Gatsby shows the J. Gatsby's ambition. Gully Boys depicts Murad's determination in contrasting cultural backgrounds. Both reflects 1920s and 1920s opulence and modern Indian struggles, emphasizing socio-economic desperation of youth and Gatsby pursues and tragically while Murad's journey leads to personal growth. This story resonates with timeless themes like ambition, identity, and clashes between illusion and reality. So here are some of the references. Thank you. So if you have any question, feel free to ask.
Hiral, my question is for you. Are there any specific scene or motifs that directly connect the Great Gatsby to the Gully Boy in terms of thematic exploration?
Yes, the thinkingness or the dream of towards love and towards the wealthier life is the connectivity between the J. Gatsby and Murad Ahmed. So according to me, that's the specific scene and the theme towards between them.
Even my question is, you mentioned that Murad Ahmed fulfills his dreams, but does he find love in personal life, or does he, like J. Gatsby, fail in the regard?
So Murad Ahmed is yes, Murad Ahmad is fulfill his desire in the well-being life and the personal growth, and also he became successful in love life also. So we saw that in the end of the movie, the Safina with his like personal life within the support. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. And today I am dealing with topic comparative analysis. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby, and Baz Luhrmann's film adaptation. This is my personal information. Table of content about author. Fitzgerald born September 24, 1896 in Stepford, Minnesota. Parents Edward Fitzgerald and Molly McPhee. Heritage descendant of Francis Scott, author of the Star Spangled Banner. Identity viewed himself as a torn between his father's aristocratic tradition and his Irish heritage. Ambivalence toward American life, so it is both vulgar and promising. Family dynamics influence is a worldview and portrayal of family in his works. Complex identity shaped by family background and experience in American society. Influence of jazz experience with white CHAVDA contributed to portrayal of the era in his works. Introduction of the Great Gatsby novel. The Great Gatsby novel by American author Scott Fitzgerald, published in 1925. It tells the story of Joy Gatsby, a self-made millionaire, and his pursuit of Daisy Buchanan, a wealthy young woman whom he loved in his youth. Set in 19th century New York, the book is narrated by Nick Carver. After moving the fictional West Eggon, Long Island, Nick come to know Gatsby, who asked for his help in reconnecting with Daisy, now married to Tom Buchanan. Gatsby and Daisy rekindle their relationship. Tom discovers the author and confronts Gatsby, revealing how Gatsby made his fortune selling illegal alcohol. While driving Gatsby's car, Daisy hits and kills Myrtle Wilson, Tom's mistress. Myrtle husband later kills Gatsby and Ben himself, intentionally giving mixed review. The Great Gatsby gained popularity in the 1950th century and how considered the masterpiece of American literature. It is inspired several film adaptations. Introduction of Baz Luhrmann's film adaptation, The Great Gatsby, based on classic 1925 novel Scott Fitzgerald, directed by Baz Luhrmann, known his bold visual style. Star Leonardo DiCaprio is Joy Gatsby, Tombe Maguire is a Nick Carve Mulligan is a Daisy Buchanan, Jewel Edgerton is a Tom Buchanan, blends contemporary music style with 20th century setting. David the descent and the excess of the roaring 20th era. Visual opulence and Lowerman's signature thread on display, supporting cars into Isa Fisher, Jason Clarke, and Elizabeth Debicki, captured the novel exploration of wealth, love, and American dream. Lowerman's fourth adaptation of classical literary similarity in novel and film. Nick's role as an unreliable narrator is the same in both novel and film. The Plaza Hotel confrontation scheme in both, creating tension. Gatsby, extravagant, mansion and party are shown in the described. The green light at a Daisy's dock in both, symbolizing Gatsby dreams. Flashback of Gatsby and Daisy have a nostalgic tone in the film. The song Young and Beautiful include novel spot linking the soundtrack to the story. The film visually contrasts wealthy and pure areas like the novel. Gatsby's obsession with Daisy is central in both versions. The car accident involving Michael is a major event in both. Perceived light, green light, and old spot from the novel are used in the film dialogue. Difference in novel and film. Some supporting characters like Jordan Baker have a reduced role in the film compared to the novel. The ambiguity around Gatsby background is relieved earlier in the film. Lowerman uses vibrant color, contemporary music, and visual effect to give modern styles take on the 1920th century era. Certain scenes are rearranged to alert like Daisy returning to Tom due to fear of Gatsby's anger rather than social comfort. The film conveys emotion like pathos more than through visual rather than introspective narration. Lowerman's incorporates symbolism through lighting, colors, and visual metaphors that differ from novel's literary technique. Characterization in novel and film. Characterization of Gatsby novel. In novel, Gatsby background is kept mysterious for much of the novel through contradictory rumors and hearsay. He is a figure marked by failure is shown by death. In the essay, Haunting Analysis, his characterization explores existential theme about aspiration, disillusionment with the American dream. Film reveals a more exhibit detail about Gatsby's criminal backstory earlier to the streamline the narrative. The existential metaphysical dimensions of the characterization in the novel prose may have been harder to fully convey visually. However, hyper stylized by parties can arguably capture something is a propensity delusional access. Characterization of Daisy novel described as the golden girl with the thrilling voice. She was embodies the idea of perfection for Gatsby, an almost unapproachable idol. Yet she also wishes her daughter to be beautiful little, hinting the purposefully constructs a shallow person. Her face was set lovely with bright things in it, suggesting hidden there. Film Daisy characterization loses the golden girl. Mystic portrayal portraying her as more stupid, blonde, lacking personality. While she speaks the beautiful little full line, the film fails to convey the layer subtext behind the person according to the analysis. Lohrmann's visual stylization flattens her into impersonal character, linking the novel's notch district, 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 distribution of her looks person. Characterization of Nick Carr. At the first person narrative, Nick's perspective by shape how other characters are portrayed. Described as the moral center with sensitivity that gains reader sympathy. His tendency to be both within and without the story he narrated adds complexity. For while his father reserved judgment exemplifying the mid-Western value. His relationship with Jordan Baker recurring subplot displaying his moral structure. The film written Nick is a first-person narrative framing the story. However, the essay critique then Nick becomes the flattened into cardboard cutout on screen. His emotional intuitivity in moral centeredness is harder to fully convey visually. Characterization of Buchanan described as the growth of the man, a great being, hunting physical specimen. They represent the arrogance and resist attitude of the old money class. Physically abusive toward Daisy, breaking with her nose with his open hand. Yet Daisy defended him, saying, "I know you did not mean to, but you did to it." Tom in film, Tom British nature and abusive behavior toward Daisy and depict visually. However, the essay argues the nouns of Daisy rationalizing and enabling his behavior are not clear. His resist attitude may be harder to study convey in the film entertainment format. In conclusion, Baz Luhrmann's adaptation of F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Gatsby, sustained visually captive homage to novel spirit at grapples with the challenge of translating literary depth and cinematic spectacle. While the film succeeds in capturing the dazzling extravagance of the jazz, it arguably sacrificed some of the novel's thematic richness and character complexity. Nevertheless, the adaptation remains a testament of Luhrmann's bold creative vision, sparking ongoing debate about balance between style and substance, cinematic reinterpretation of beloved literary classics. This is my resources.
Ajay, my question is, how does the film adaptation handle the romantic relationship between the Gatsby and Daisy Buchanan compared to the novel?
In the novel, Gatsby and Daisy, the relationship is started slowly. In a novel, in a film, is a relationship with showing in immediately and
So Joy, my question is for you that what are some key differences in portrayal of J. Gatsby, Gatsby's character between the novel and the film adaptation?
In the novel, J. Gatsby showing is ambiguous and mysterious, and in the film is showing a well-being. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. Myself CHAVDA. Today I am going to give my presentation on unraveling the myths, exploring literary allusions in T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. Here is my personal information. This is the table of content. Introduction. T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland was written in 1922, stands as a modernist masterpiece capturing the fragmentation and spiritual bareness of the post-World War I era. At its core lies a rich tapestry of mythical and literary allusions like the great legend and Fisher King myth, classical figures like Tiresias and Cumaean Sibyl, references to Dante, Shakespeare, and Butler, Eastern philosophies and Buddhism. These allusions create a multi-layered world demanding active engagement, connecting the modern experience to ancient narrative and universal human experience. So the Great Legend and the Fisher King, medieval Arthurian romance of knights embarking on a second quest for the Holy Grail, that is called as the Cup of the Last Supper. The Fisher King is the wounded guardian of the Grail. He suffers from an unexplained, unhealing wound that leaves his kingdom a barren wasteland. Only by a pure knight asking him the right question about his suffering can the Fisher King be healed and his lands restored to fertility. How Eliot uses this potent myth as a framework to explore the spiritual aridity and barrenness of modern life and humanity's desperate quest for redemption and renewal amidst modern decay in this poem, The Wasteland. Key Grail Fisher King references in the Wasteland. Here are some references which T.S. Eliot take from the myth. The first is the man with the three steps. The first the Fisher King figure, portrayed amid a desert wasteland by Madame Sosotris in section 1. Then second is the important Fisher King fishing in the dull canal, musing upon the king my brother's wake behind industrial light in section 3. In the final section, the Fisher King fishes on the arid plain and contemplates, shall I at least set my lands in order, suggesting for a potential for spiritual regeneration. So this central grail myth allegory, Eliot poignantly captures the overarching themes of modern society's spiritual desolation, juxtaposed with a glimpse of a possible redemption and renewal. So here are some classical mythology. The first is the myth of Tiresias. Tiresias, a figure from a Greek mythology, was a blind prophet known for his wisdom and ability to see the future in T.S. Eliot's poem The Wasteland. Tiresias is a reference in line 218 to 215 as an authority on a life, death, and transformation. Tiresias' dual nature as both male and female is symbolic of the themes of duality present in the poem. These dual aspects of Tiresias reflect contrast between sterility and fertility, highlighting the barrenness and lack of vitality in the modern world depicted in the Wasteland. Tiresias' ability to see both sides of the spectrum as a blind prophet with both male and female experiences underscores the complexity of the themes of life, death, and transformation explored in the poem. The second is the myth of Philomela, which is taken from the Ovid's Metamorphosis. It's a Greek myth about a Philomela being raped by Tereus and after that tongue cut. She and her sister Procne transformed into a nightingale and swallow seeking revenge. So here is where he takes the myth in his poem, Eliot's allusion in lines 99 to 103. Ruddy little nightingale singing in modern urban wasteland. So here's the line, tweet, 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 juk, 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 juk. So rudely forced terror. The terror means the terrors. Analysis that how what he wanted to tell us by using this myth, that Philomela was violated, muted, was symbolic of a World War I trauma and modern sterility. Myth connects to themes of rape, silencing of female voices. Her metamorphosis parallels fragmentation and transformations of modernity, cycle of violence and renewal. Some critics see her myth relating to death, rebirth, and motives in the poem. Her bird song representing continuity of nature amid modern decay. Eliot's adaptation fuses ancient and modern, using Philomela as a voice of violated femininity and symbol of cyclic renewal through art. Then other myth is the myth of Sibyl, which is an ancient Roman prophetess from Virgil's Aeneid, granted immorality but not eternal youth. Her withering body symbolized the decline of her past glory. Here is the Eliot's invocation in line 360 and 366. I will show you something different from either your shadow at morning standing behind you, or your shadow at evening rising to meet you. I will show you fear in a handful of dust, fished where their mind, their hammer you. May Irish kind who wearest too. So here's the analysis. Sibyl as a harbinger of a doom and apocalyptic vision. Her wasting immoral spirits mirrors wasted landscapes, connects ancient prophecy to modern existential dread. Significance of the myth. Sibyl's voice from the past ones of present, future, and desolation exemplifies Eliot's blending of mythic and modern. Her prophetic power underscores poem's tone and disillusion. Relevance to Indian myths. These myths are also not directly connected to Indian mythology, but there is a part. So we have heard about the myth of Shikhandi from Mahabharata. Hindu epics features characters like Shikhandi who undergo gender transformation, reflecting themes of identity and fluidity. These tales resonate with a modern discussion of gender diversity. Or also Ila, she was also a woman, and after that she became a man. So, and if we see in a modern time, so there is a third gender. We call them non-binary or a transgender. So they are also like connected to Shikhandi, or we can say the Tiresias who lives in a society as a man and a woman both. Then Philomela's myth is also not directly, but is connected to Ahalya's myth. Myth of Philomela's silence and Ahalya's curse highlight themes of trauma, resilience, and justice for women. They mirror real-world issues of sexual violence and empowerment. So, out of this, both means if we see in real life, so there is so many rape cases are happening in the world, and they are getting women are getting silenced because of their reputation in the society. If we see, and mostly women are getting raped by someone who knows them, and also some of the family members too, relatives too, and they will say that you shouldn't. You shouldn't voice your problems to society because it will be harmful for your reputation. Even if see in a real life, in our Gujarat, we see that we are coming from there is so many in rural area, so many people have heard that કે જીબડો બહુ વધી ગયો છે, કાપી નાખવો પડશે. So women were always been called whenever they try to stand up for themselves. They were always said that you shouldn't talk or your tongue will be cut. Then third myth is the Sybil and Markandeya, Rishi Markandeya. Characters like the Sybil and Markandeya navigate fate and divinity, reflecting human desires to understand the unknown and confront mortality. These myths offer insights into the human condition and our quest for meaning. So, even if we see in real life, we have seen so many astrologers and so many people who say prophecies like Ambalal Bhai Patel, who talks about nature that it will rain or not. So, it can be that how they are like them. Then, overall, these interconnected myths shed light on universal themes and archetypes, providing valuable insights into the human experience across cultures and time periods. Literary allusions, which are used in the poem by Eliot. Eliot draws upon a diverse range of sources, including Dante's Inferno, Shakespeare's plays, and the works of other poets and writers. Purpose of literary allusions, that why a poet should use the literary allusions in their work. Enrich the poem's meaning by tapping into the collective consciousness of literary tradition, create an intertextual connection that deepens thematic exploration and enhance readers' engagement. So here is the examples that how he used the allusions. Unreal city, the passage Eliot draws from Dante's Inferno to describe the desolate urban landscape, echoing themes of spiritual and moral decay present in both works. Second example is a game of a chess section. This section alludes to Shakespeare's The Tempest, exploring themes of disillusionment, desire, and betrayal through dialogue with this Shakespearean plays. Example 3 is that reference to other poets. Eliot incorporates allusions to poets like Butler, enriching the poem's depth and resonate with the echoes of their works and inviting readers to engage with the broader literary tradition. So here is the images. You can see the first image is the urban city, which is mentioned in the poem about London bridge, and the crowd is also seen there. And that second one is the from Dante's Inferno. Then third one is a chair which is described in the poem, and fourth one is the scene from the Tempest. The significance of allusions, creating universality and connectedness. Eliot's allusions to diverse myths, legends, and literary works from various cultures and time periods create a sense of universality, connecting the modern human experience to ancient narratives and timeless themes, challenging readers' understanding. That how we use allusions to challenge the readers for their understanding. The plethora of allusions in Eliot's work challenges the reader's understanding and encourages active engagement, prompting them to decipher the significance of each allusion and explore the poem's layered meaning. Then enhancing the complexity. Eliot's use of allusions enriches the complexity of his work by infusing it with multiple layers of meaning, weaving a tapestry of cultural, historical, and literary significance that transcends the boundaries of time and place. Then Eastern influence in the poem. So Eliot integrated Eastern philosophies, particularly Buddhism, into the Wasteland, adding a depth to its exploration of spiritual themes. References to Upanishads. Eliot alludes to the Upanishads, ancient Hindu texts that discuss metaphysical concept of nature of reality, providing a rich philosophical backdrop to the poem. Then concept of reincarnation. Through references to reincarnation, a central tenet of Hinduism and Buddhism, Eliot highlights the cyclic nature of human existence and the eternal search for meaning. Contribution to spiritual emptiness. These allusions contribute to the poem's portrayal of a spiritual emptiness and the disillusionment of a modern life, emphasizing on the longing for a transcendence amidst urban decay. Then exploration of the enlightenment by using the Eastern influence, that by juxtaposing Eastern concepts of enlightenment with poem's bleak landscape, Eliot invites readers to contemplate the possibility of spiritual renewal and the quest of enlightenment in the face of societal decay. Then modern aesthetics, which used by T.S. Eliot in the poem. So first is the juxtaposition. Eliot juxtaposes seemingly disparate images, voices, and fragments. For example, myth, modernity, high culture, and low culture. This collision of contrast mirrors the fragmentation and chaos of modern urban life. The juxtapositions create an unsettling, multi-layered effect that resists singular interpretation. So the first picture is the London Bridge. So there is a line that a crowd flocked over London Bridge. So many I had not thought death had undone so many. So you can see there is they are saying that there is a death, still there are so many people. So this is they are trying to contrast that even if there is death, still there is a people. To live pair of ragged crows scuttling across the floors of silent seas. Here you can see the image that how it's a surreal image of the clouds in the sea. Then fragmentation. What is the fragmentation? Is the non-linear disjunctive structure with abrupt shifts reflects a fractured sense of reality. There is no single unified narrative or a perspective. Multiple voices and vignettes intersect. This fragmentation of a form echoes the spiritual, cultural brokenness of Eliot conveys. So basically, fragmentation means that combining two things that are parallelly different. You can see in the first picture there is a tree which is blooming with a life, and meanwhile there is its roots are in the rocks. As the line says that what are the roots that clutch that branches grow out of this stony rubbish. So he is asking that how if we will he is asking that will it bloom even though there is a rocks are stony. Then hurry up please, it's a time. So there is abrupt shift from lines of poetry to modernist prose fragment, as you can hear say that they are running. Then experimentation. The poem radically breaks from a traditional poetic conventions of coherence and closure. It incorporates elements of other genres like drama with a dialogue and stage directions. By experimenting with form, Eliot fashions a new poetic mode suited to modern disillusionments. Here is the line like, he wept, he promised a new start. Use of a sparse stage directions typical of a modernist drama. Then those are pearls that were in his eyes. Look, here he is trying to purposefully convoluted the twist of a cliche that I like pearls. Then urbanity. The bleak, spiritually arid, unreal city serves as a backdrop for much of the poem. Urban images of crowds, commodities, machines convey soulless modern rootlessness. Yet the ancient mythic figures appear amid these landscapes, flashing past and present as you see the images. So these are the lines which can be seen as an example of urbanity. Unreal city under the brown fog of a winter dawn, as you see in that image, that there was a brown fog in the city. Then a small house agent's clerk on a cold evening, she hastened at once to a low divan, conveys a ruthless, monotonous, modern urban working class existence. By employing these distinctly modernist techniques, Eliot crafted a poetic form that could contain the complexities of the 20th century psyche, its uncertainties, contradictions, and the attempt to forge a new meaning from a societal upheaval. The avant-garde style mirrors the radical shift in the worldview Eliot anatomizes. So here is the conclusion. The intricate web of mythical and literary allusions forms the core framework that gives the Wasteland its remarkable depth and a multi-layered meaning. From the Grail myth allegory to classical figures like Tiresias to reference spanning Dante, Shakespeare, and Eastern thought, Eliot weaves together a vast cultural intertextuality. These timeless allusions function as repositories of universal knowledge, the human archetypes, linking modernity's spiritual aridity to eternal cycles of death, renewal, existential questioning across cultures. That juxtaposition against modern urban images creates a tension where Eliot locates a deeper relevance. The mythic voices provide a prestigious insights into contemporary anguish, while their transformative journeys mirror humanity's quest for transcendence amidst fragmentation. The West will become a nexus work bridging antiquity and modernity, rootedness and homelessness, the celestial and earthly. Eliot's pioneering incorporation of this vast literary cosmos within a post-war nihilistic landscape is what solidifies the poem as a definitive 20th century masterwork. It's grappling with modernity's metaphysical homelessness through archetypal symbols, ensures its enduring profundity and relevance in the plumbing the depth of the human condition. Here is my references. And thank you. Now, if anybody have questions, so please ask.
My question is, what is juxtaposition?
So juxtaposition is that a poet when he or she uses the juxtaposition in their work, that is they try to compare the contrast between the things like Eliot done that there is a London Bridge and there will be death, but still there are people. But in real life, we say that people are always running from a death or they are feared by a death. So you can say that is the juxtaposition. Even if we see in abnormal example like that at the night that the sun and the moon both are at the same places in some literary works, so that can be also considered as a juxtaposition. Now, if anyone else.
So, Jayashree, my question is for you that how does T.S. Eliot mentions of Upanishads in the Wasteland deepen the poem's exploration of spirituality and the cycle of life?
As we know that T.S. Eliot took inspiration from Upanishads. That Upanishad was a Brihadaranya. So basically this Upanishad is about the search of death, is about death, then reincarnation, then how rebirth, and by using this, he wants us to search for a spirituality from a spiritual emptiness. So he wants us to death is normal, then birth is normal, that everything is normal. Thank you.
So hello everyone, I am Kavita Chauhan and today I am going with the topic of presentation, the vivid spectrum of the color in Great Gatsby.
Which is not playing.
It's my personal information. It's point to point that I am discussing the presentation. It's the introduction of the topic of presentation. In Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, symbols are important and intricate part of the what makes it a great novel. Through there are numerous and the different aspects that could be explored and emphasize several colors used or symbolizing them in the novel. For example, green, white, silver, yellow, and golden. The writer is the similarity of painter who makes his writing very usual and bright, as he mostly used pure color, not shades, to make the picture clear. This color gives us a brief insight into characters and their lives. Symbolism reflects what life in the 1920s was like through the Fitzgerald's eyes. Brief about the novel. The novel, The Great Gatsby, is the implication of the love, power, and awakening. Set in the roaring 20s and largely occurring outside New York City, the novel targets a American dream by narrating a love story between Daisy and J. Gatsby. Nick Carraway, one of the main characters who narrated the tale as hero, reminisces about his life, friends, and society. Nearly a century has passed in Fitzgerald's first publication, his 14th novel in 1955. Even though the novel initially faced large criticism, resentment, and did not sell well, The Great Gatsby is acclaimed and globally recognized today as a classical novel, and is published in 1915. The vivid spectrum of the color. The spectrum word is like in a use of science and is the inspiration of the scientists as like Newton and is the often in the 1916. This word I use in the presentation is like color symbolizing of the Great Gatsby. In the novel is important color symbolizing the complex pattern of the corresponding light and dark colors. This color represents the symbolism of the Great Gatsby is green color, white, yellow and golden, silver and black, gray color, blue, pink and red. The first of color is the green color. Is the perspective of symbolizes the two types, is the positive significance and negative significance. First is the positive significance of the green color is the youth and love. Green is the vibrant and hopeful color. In the novel, green symbolizes Gatsby's dream and wealth. The port impressive green dot light appearing to be Daisy in creation symbolize Gatsby's love. And negative meaning is the impossible dream and tragedy. The green light that never goes out, the night symbolizes the pursuit of dream that has never been realized in his life. This table of content is green color is many time of use how many time color green use and collection and meaning and which character as represented with green color. First is the green line is the use in fight time and meaning is romantic reading hope hope once and death. Its color is mostly corrected with character of Gatsby. Green face. Its meaning is envy and this character represented with Wilson. The green house. It's hope and money. It character associated with Gatsby. Greenhouse, hope and money, Gatsby, green golf link, the nature and character associated with Jordan Baker. The green jersey, that means hope, and that character associated with the Gatsby. And the second is white color. The white color is symbolized in the character like Daisy and Jordan. Daisies repeat associated with the color white as attracting the notice of several critics as included as Edmund who can observe color and cosmos in the Great Gatsby. Daniel Shedder remarked, the critic was remarked that white traditionally symbolizes purity. And there is no doubt Fitzgerald went to underscore the ironic display between the ostentatious purity of Daisy and her actually he is the corrupting the innocent. White color discuss of purity, innocence, and face of decay. And next is yellow and golden color. The yellow and golden color in the text symbolize the luxurious and wealth. Daisy, a rich upper class man. Daisy, a rich upper class man ran in the market. A yellow car appeared, symbolized of the rich and upper class. Daisy, a brown girl, Gatsby's bound tie, Jordan's on hair, and yellow combination of party girl. On the one hand, they are symbolized of wealth. On the other hand, they are symbolized of human disparities and social decay under the influence of money and supremacy. The novel Yellow is also accompanied by the death. After his death, his body was placed in a casket in which there was only a yellow light hanging from the bar on his head. It's yellow is like Gatsby's luxurious life, and there's like a materialistic thing is what is like most of or maza. Next is silver and black color. The silver, of course, symbolizing both the dream and reality, since as the color of the romantic stars and the moon, it's clearly associated with the romantic. Hope and promise would govern the Gatsby's life, and the color of money is obviously a symbol of corruption, materialism. The black has mostly interconnection symbolism as the color of a negative forces and unhappy event. It stands for the darkness of death, ignorance, disappear, sorrow, and evil. Silver of the moon, that means beauty, melancholy, and the character with her Daisy. Black wing, and the motor hires the means horrible black and death with a character with Great Gatsby. Next is gray color. Gray is important symbol significant in the Great Gatsby. Gray is a very dumping of industrial waste in the gray zone. The symbol of the human spirit of Wasteland is the pursuit of human wealth. There are no houses and chimney and rising smoke. It lasts with the social balcony effort. They occasionally fill up the crowd of grey people, and a long grey car slowly clogged along in the invisible path, breaking to the hand. Grey color is the meaning of strained eyes, facelessness, and character with associated with Jordan Baker. Next is a gray beard with meaning of said Gatsby's father, The sadness and character with represent with Gatsby's father. Grey class is facelessness and is the represent of the low classes. It's like Wilson and next is blue color. It also is the two type of positive and negative significance. First is a negative, positive significance is a dream. According to color expert, as blue is closely related to the dream. So this color is mainly related to the Gatsby and his dream and illusion. The blue informed driver and the blue garden and the blue lawn in the Gatsby's home represent the pure land where you can put down all the trouble in the life and enjoy the pursuit of the happiness. The negative significance is a greed. People sometimes is like happy and sometimes it's like more money and that thing was like in some emotion is like different in the different type. It's like a negative perspective is the become as greed and more achievement. The blue in the text symbolize the secure factors. Experts' eyes are considered to be the eyes of God because they are blue eyes with big pupils. Martin blue rays symbolize her desire and run away with Tom. And Martin desire to get her pretty life. They are the doctor's eyes are appreciation of God. Red and pink color. The color red is the significance of love, passion, and tragedy. Analysis of use of red is moments of love and tragedy. As a representative of the noble class, Tom began as family and rich and genius, which is the unimaginable. They live in luxurious red and white villa. Unlike previous naturalist writer, Fitzgerald associated with red and violence death. At the beginning of the novel, the cover of the next economic book is the writing red and gold, which seem to be means the great economic successfully come at the cost of violence and bloodshed. The wine, that color rush, richness and danger. Character associated with Tom and Daisy. Pink clouds, dream. Daisy's character with represent. And pink suit is the tastelessness and the character associated with Gatsby. Its conclusion. The Great Gatsby is the one of the most colorful and visual work in the literature. So high is the destiny of color words per page. Almost each stand of color symbolizes some human value of future, the character of the novel. He uses literary technique of symbolism to reflect that life in 1920s was like. Through Fitzgerald's eyes, he used color throughout the novel, proved to be important of the development of the them and to the development and characters of the characteristic of the character in the Great Gatsby. These colors give us the Gatsby's understanding of character and their lives. So, it's the references. If you have any questions.
So, Kavita, my question is, in what ways does the prevalence of materialism today reflect the yellow symbolism in the Great Gatsby?
Yes. The privilege of materialism today reflect yellow symbolism and Great Gatsby is most of the economic and visualize that like people, some people have like more money and that luxurious life, live luxurious life and like party and everything due to the want to he become and that today like Gatsby's novel in Gatsby and it's like he have more money and powerful men like in the world and that century is and today's life is like people have become more money and that have some like a greed become and social injustice is like responsibility. Some is the people who think about acting on something and no respect to other people and ignore to everything else. Next.
So, Kavita, I want to ask that in today's world, how does the gray valley of ashes symbolize societal decay and inequality?
In today's world, gray valley ash of symbolize societal decay and inequality. Is the societal inequality, and Great Gatsby is like some gray valley is something smoky and dusty and industrial things is represent, and like social injustice is the character of Winston is the lower class people, and that was lower class people, and that was working in the industry and lower class, and that is always working as generation by generation, and that nothing to this change. And today's world is like that people have more money and good in his education system is people have more money, and that give proposition is like would you like that is the corruption and everything become by money. That's inequality in the today's world. So thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kusum Sarvaya, and my today's topic of presentation is Chasing the Dreams, Decoding the Green Light in the novel The Great Gatsby. This is my personal information and table of contents. These are some important topics which we are going to discuss in the presentation. So let's start with introduction. The Great Gatsby is written by Fitzgerald. The green light in which the green light was profound, symbolic, significant, representing both aspiration and unattainable dreams. The green light is located at the Daisy and the Buchanan of Dock across the water from J. Gatsby's mansion in novel. So here we will find a location of green light in the novel. The most prominent symbol is the green light. Yes, there are many symbols, but the green light we can say is the major symbol, one of them. The green light symbolizes Gatsby's hope, dreams, particularly his desire for wealth, success, and love. This is overview of the novel. The Great Gatsby is written by Fitzgerald and it was published in 1925. And set in Jazz Age. This Jazz Age also symbolizes many things. It follows the narrator Nick Carraway as he becomes entangled in the lives of a wealthy neighbor called J. Gatsby and his cousin Daisy. The novel explored the theme of American dream, wealth, love. These all the symbols that the American dream, wealth, love, and emptiness of materialism. This everything we can say in one way that everything can be symbolized by only one thing, that is green light. Yes, here is the central thing, the symbolism of green light. The green light embodies J. Gatsby's relentless pursuit of his version of the American dream to win back Daisy's real life and then past love affair. As we have seen in the movie and in the novel as well, that there is a constant thing that called American dream, in which the J. Gatsby is. That he thinks that once everything will be fine and I will get the thing whatever I desire for. But at the end, as we know that his tragedy is tragic end. The green light stands as a constant reminder of J's aspiration and fuels for his determination of achieve them. As we all, everyone have that one kind of fuel to achieve our desire or to achieve our goals. So this green light, we can say this fuel for a J Gatsby. It often represents wealth and materialism, but also hold connotation of envy and desire. The juxtaposition between East Egg, where Daisy resides, and where West Egg, Gatsby's residence, also symbolized by green light. The juxtaposition of East Egg and West Egg, we can say that location, how the location symbolized by green light. The green light acts like a tangible representation of the divide between old money and the old money can be represented by Daisy and new money is striving for the social acceptance. In our language, we can say that kind of a word that is a khandani money. So this that the old money, the Daisy, so she's already in a we can say a stable society and who is already fixed in the mold of society, while the character like Gatsby, who is struggling to fix the mold of that American dream or a society, and the social acceptance. The green light is constant hope for J that once Daisy will come back to him. This is we can say only thing we can easily identify in the novel. Along with green light, it can symbolize platonic love as well. This also can be notable point. Reality versus illusion. This is a theme which can be reflected in the green light. The theme of illusion versus reality, as Gatsby's fixation on it blinds him to the truth of his situation with Daisy. So we can see whatever the situation in the movie and the novel as well, but we can say that this J. Gatsby was in a constant illusion in the whole story. That and we can also say this that J. Gatsby was in kind of he's struggling and he's facing by realism as well. Fitzgerald exposed the contrast between appearances and reality, highlighting the emptiness and disillusionment that often lie beneath the surface of the glittering chassis. So everything was glittering and goody and sweetie in beneath the chassis. Yes, this resemblance of a green color in Bollywood. In Bollywood, we have many colors, but this green color can be many times it often symbolizes jealousy and envy among characters. This symbolism is evident in the cinematography, where green tint lighting or green color props are employed to convey feelings and resentments. See in this image, this first image of Madhuri Dixit is from Devdas movie, where she feels her jealousy that the song is also symbolized the green color that hum pe kisne hara rang dala. So this green color symbolizes jealousy from Paro, that I want love, but whatever I want it is her she already have. And this another picture is from Bajirao Mastani, where everyone was feeling jealousy from Mastani that how a Mughal princess, why a Mughal princess is so close to our king. And with conclusion, the Great Gatsby, where the green light served as the poignant representation of interplay between reality and illusion. Through characters like J. Gatsby and a symbol like the green light, Fitzgerald masterfully explored themes of the American dream, disillusionment, and exclusion. And you can visit this site for more reading. Then we can discuss the questions.
So my question is, the acts of green color, which are the referred in Great Gatsby?
green color, as I say, it is in center, and there are other colors as well, like yellow, which is symbolize wealth, gray color, which is symbolize decay of society, and the another color is white color as well, which is symbolized daisies, purity or innocence, and blue color as well, which is represent eliteness of society and materialism as well.
So, Kusum, my question is that how does the symbolism of the green light in the Great Gatsby reflect themes of longing and the unattainable American dream?
Okay. The theme of longing may be represented by the character of Daisy, and this American dream. This American dream can be This American dream can be reflected by green light, and there are some other like his desires of Gatsby and thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Maya Bhatia. Today's topic of echoes of the ancestors' literary liberation in its poem The Second Coming. This is my personal information. Introduction of Yeats. Full name William Butler Yeats, born in 13 June 1865. He was Irish poet, dramatist, and prose writer, one of the greatest English language poets of the 20th century. He was Nobel Prize for Literature in 1923. Famous works of On Being Asked for a War Poem, and The Second Coming, symbolism in his poetry, the mask, the clothes of heaven, and the lake is the of Innisfree. About the Second Coming poem. The Second Coming is a poem written by Irish poet Yeats in 1990. First published, printed in the Dial in November 1920, and afterwards included in his 1921 collection of verses Mr. Robert Tess and the Dancer. The poem uses Christian imagery regarding the apocalypse and second coming to allegorically describe the atmosphere of post-war Europe. It is considered a major work of modernist poetry and has been reprinted in several collections, including the Northern Anthology of Modern Poetry. The topic of echoes of the ancestors' literary reverberations in its The Second Coming. The archetypal fascination of the Second Coming lies in its extremely inclusive capability to embrace and re-elaborate material belonging to different ages and traditions. Although the title of the poem suggests a Christian theme, the mysterious allegory of its imagery symbolizes a more complex and manufactured representation of the coming of an antithetical cycle. Moreover, most of the specific details are finally elided to create an effect of archetypal timelessness. The artistic richness of the Second Coming, therefore, lies in its intricate hidden network of historical allusions, speculations, and echoes of religious and literary traditions. In the poem, this cosmological perspective on human history is assumed by a first-person speaker. After witnessing the allegorical manifestation of an antithetical historical cycle symbolized by the root beast, the speaker achieves knowledge through revelation and finally understands the principle underlying the cyclical recurrence and annihilation of historical eras. The darkness grows again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were wasted to nightmare by a rocky scandal. And what roof beast? It's our come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born. In the poem, the roof beast embarks on a backward movement towards Bethlehem, which is the geographical and historical origin of the Christian cycle. Conclusion. The Second Coming is a poem written by William Butler, yet that uses Christian imagery, metaphor, and allegorical to describe the atmosphere of Europe after the First World War. The Second Coming is a famous modernist poem and has been cited in major works such as the Notor Anthology of Modern Poetry. This is my references. Anybody question?
So Maya, what are the some of the key historical event and literary traditions that influenced the Second Coming?
Historical events and literary traditions that influenced the Second Coming, including the Russian Revolution and First World War, and echoes literary and religious and literary tradition. Next.
Maya, my question is, how does Yeats explore the idea in the second book?
Yes, explore the idea of relation of in Second Coming. Speaker experience. Yes, this type of traditional and historical cycle. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My topic name is Diving Deep into the Second Coming by W.P. This is my personal information. Table of content. First start with the author introduction. The Second Coming about the poet. William Butler Yeats. He's born on 13 June 1865 and he died 28 January 1939. He was an Irish poet and dramatist and writer. He is a prominent poet in modern times for his sense of moral wholeness, of humanity and history. Yet started his long literary career as a romantic poet and gradually evolved into a modernist poet. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1923. He is regarded by some as the greatest English language poet of the 20th century. These are some major works of the poems. Starting from historical background, between 1815 and 1914, Europe relished an unusually prolonged period of peace after the Napoleon Wars. And however, in 1940 War I, adopted disputing this tranquility. The war's aftermath saw rise of communism in Germany and the swift ascent of fascism in both Germany and Italy. This sequence of events unfolded rapidly, thrusting Europe into a tremendous era of conflict, ideological upheaval, marking a stark departure from the century of peace and it had enjoyed. Some about the poem. Poem was written in 1990 and outcome of the First World War and the beginning of Irish War of the Independence. It's used here phrases the second birth instead of the second coming, and is the first stanza. It consists of two stanzas. It is a poem of powerful imagery and symbolism. In the first stanza, the turning and turning in the wandering child, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. The second coming is paints the pictures of a world in turmoil where innocence is lost and stability shattered. Phrases like things fall apart and the center cannot hold evoke the sense of impending collapse and chaos. And through this, the vivid symbol it reflects on the fragility and civilization and the inevitability of change, offering a profound meditation on the turbulent time of the early 20th century. In the second stanza, the speaker expressed the sense of anticipations, believing that the revelations or second coming is imminent. In the symbolism in Spirituals Mundi, the second part sounds Christians in the beginning, but develops an image whose source is not scripture but the Spirituals Mundi, and which concerns something like an Egyptian sphinx
and the passing of Christ in his favor. The imagery evokes a sense of a dread and forwarding with the figures and gaze described as a blank and pitiless. The speaker realizes that centuries diplomacy have been disturbed with the prospect of the monstrous being born and near the Wasteland, suggesting an impending apocalypse or a radical transformation. Thus, the Yeats can describe the second coming with exhilarations not unlike the excitement and the sense of pending rebirth which has accompanied our horror and the events which have destroyed American complacency in the last few years. The type of hybrid creature is quite common in various mythologies, and it meant to convey a kind of practitioner's and a sense of nature somehow going wrong. Thus, the image is to symbolize the coming historical phase of evil, but the beast is not imitating Christ's second coming at all. It is imitating his first coming. The second coming is the Christian idea that Jesus will someday return to the earth and save those who are worthy. It was written soon after the end of the World War I, during which millions of people died in battle and millions more from its followed. This innocent devastation was a stark reminder of humanity's capacity for self-destruction. Some mythology in relevance Hindu mythology to second coming. In the Kalki avatar is the prophesied future incarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu, who is said to appear at the end of Kali Yuga and to restore the righteousness and order. Kalki is depicted as the warrior on a white horse and wielding a sword, and is believed to vanquish evil forces and initiate a new era of righteousness known as the Satyuga. In conclusion, in W.H. the second coming serves as a hunting reflections on the upheavals of early 20th century, capturing the turmoil of World War I and the rise of ideological strife through the vivid imagery and symbolism. It forms the impending chaos and transformation, urging the readers contemplate the fragility of civilizations and the cyclical nature of history. This is my website. Now, anyone to ask me a question? Ask.
Nanda, my question is, can you give any other Western literary works or philosophical ideas that parallel the theme of Kali Yuga and Chai?
Of course, that first was syllabus in the Wasteland by T.S. Eliot is parallel to themes of Chaya, and the second also reiterates a vision to include in this similar or parallel themes.
Nanda, my question is, how does the poem reflect the historical context of its time?
The poem was written in the First World War, after the First World War, and the period marked by disillusionment and society upheaval, and the sense impeding them. And the Yeats capture his sentiments through his imagery, and the theme is the chaos and transformation. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I am going to present exploring the intersections of fantasy and reality in Orlando. Points to ponder. Virginia Woolf introduction. Introduction about novel. Fantasy based reality. Gender identity. Visual adoption and conclusion. Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf, born in 1882, was a pioneer British writer known for her contribution to modernist literature. Woolf's literary achievements include groundbreaking works such as Mrs. Dalloway, To the Lighthouse, and Orlando, where she experimented with narrative technique and explored the theme of consciousness and identity. She was a prominent figure in the Bloomsbury group, a circle in intellectuals and artists. Virginia Woolf was renowned from her experimental writing style and her profound interest in exploring the depth of human consciousness. Through stream of consciousness, narration, and innovative narrative techniques, Woolf delved into the inner working of her characters' minds, revealing their thought, emotions, and participations with remarkable depth and complexities. These avant-garde approach to storytelling challenges traditional literary conventions and paved the way for the development of modern literature. Woolf's explorations of consciousness not only revolutionized the way novels were written, but also offered profound insights into the complexity of human existence. Introduction about novel. Orlando by Virginia Woolf traces the odysseys of its protagonist Orlando, an Elizabethan nobleman who undergoes sudden gender transformations, spanning centuries and encountering historical figure. The story delves into the themes of identity, gender fluidity, and the passage of time, making it a landmark work of modernist literature. In Orlando by Virginia Woolf, the central theme revolves around the intersections of fantasy and reality. Through the protagonist's remarkable journey spanning century and experiencing sudden transformations of gender, Woolf blurs the lines between the imagined and tangible. These explorations of fantasy and reality invites reader to complete the fluidity and of identity, the power of storytelling, and the complex relationship between the inner world of imaginations and the inner world of lived experience. Fantasy-based reality. Fantasy definition: something that is produced by the imaginations, an idea about doing something that is far removed for normal reality. Example: fairy tales, myths, legends, science fiction, dreams, etc. Reality definition: in truth used to stress that something is true or real, especially when it is different from what was believed or expected. Example: everyday life, historical event, scientific discoveries, and personal experience. For in Orlando, Virginia Woolf sought to recreate the fact of history as revealed in a history of temperament of the sequels, who not only played a part in English history and literature, but who also in their various personages and in the history of Knoll House mirrored the spirit of the age in which they lived. The truth of fiction is achieved by means of fantasy, in which the hero-heroines change sex as well as centuries in order to reveal, as the Virginia Woolf wrote in a preliminary note in the manuscript, the different aspect of the character in different centuries. The truth of history is achieved by making those different aspects of Orlando's self reflect the changing temperaments of the sequels as a prototypes of the times from the Elizabethan and Jacobean age to the present 1928, in order to show the unity that underlies the history of Sackville's family from Thomas Sackville's to Victorian Sackville's West. Virginia Woolf decided not to include the dead in the novel in order not to identify Orlando to literally with Thomas Sackville, but more likely this dead and other were discarded so that she would be free and telescope and manipulate history facts to achieve the truth of historical fictions, the essence of the personality reflecting the spirit of an age. In fact, Thomas Aquinas was nearly the 13-year-old when Queen Elizabeth made a present of Noel House to him in 1566. The truth of Thomas Aquinas, Orlando, is that Virginia Woolf portrays this youthful desire to be a poet in conflict with his political opportunities as a cousin and favorites of the queen who knighted him, created him Lord Buckhurst, appointed him ambassadors of France. Similarly, although Virginia Woolf constantly plays upon the theme that biography and historical represent truth and poetry fancy, she avoided overstating these distinctions in the novel. The theme that the meaning of life is revival not by a significant event but by something useless or vain or foolish is the essence to the poetic vision that can see the meaning of life in toy-boat rather than 18-hour or convents or factory act on article on London. This theme is repeated in the Final Fantasy scenes in the novel. The wild goose replacing the toy-boat as the symbols of ecstasy and the secret of life, free fight of the imagination. Perhaps the most obvious example of fantasy within the novel is the title character's sudden change of gender identity. Woolf tells is of mystical and somewhat a fantastical event. The novel Orlando brings forward important topics such as gender categorization, gender roles, and identity issue. The main protagonist goes through transformations in which she goes for male and female. Orlando goes through the experience of finding her gender identity and another discovery came about. Orlando demonstrates the influence on her of not only the psychological age but also the notions of essential identity. Virginia Woolf Orlando is an impressive example of gender identifications addressing the role of men and women and what they should be. The another not only they challenge the stereotypical understanding of masculinity behavior but also explore situations where gender characterized are transferred or equal. Furthermore, Woolf implies that gender is a choice or an act limited by society and era. Visual adaptation. The 1992 film adaptation of Orlando, directed by Sally Potter, retaining the central premise but different in several aspects. While both mediums explore themes of gender identity and social norms, the film incorporates visual storytelling and cinematic techniques that are different from the novel's literary style. The film visual aesthetics and music contributed to a unique viewing experience, enhancing the narrative in ways that the novel cannot. Conclusion. The novel challenges traditions, notions of reality and invites reader to complete the interconnectedness of fact and fantasy in a shaping of our understanding of the world. Virginia Woolf's portrayal of Orlando journey highlights the synthesis of masculinity and femininity with the protagonist identity through Orlando transformation. Our century with explorations of fluidity of our identity and the power of self-realizations. The novel emphasizes the complexity and richness of human experience, challenging binary notion of gender and highlighting the capacity for personal growth and self-discovery. This is my reference. Thank you. If anyone question. Vishwa, how does Orlando's journey blur the boundaries between fantasy and reality? Orlando journey blur fantasy and reality by seamlessly intervening historical events with fantastical elements of burning in the line between what is the imagined and what is the real.
Vishnu, my question is, how does the interplay of fact and fantasy in Orlando enrich the reader's understanding of the protagonist's journey through time and identity?
The interplay of fact and fantasy in Orlando enrich the reader's understanding of the protagonist by blurring the boundaries between reality and fantasy. Between reality and fantasy and explorations theme like gender, time, and identity in the moral complex. Thank you.
Okay, so a quick feedback that we give. Your time, I remember 7 to 8 minutes you have to complete your 7 to 8 minutes if you are taking lots of time. You get late for the afternoon session. More time is taken. Okay, so very few, most of you are doing well now. The improvement is required in Maya's presentation. Maya and even Jay, you also need to still improve, do some rehearsals so you can read better. For you, reading also is very important in this level to improve the reading also. Those who are reading, we have to tell you have to talk, not read screen by screen, word by word, everything on the screen only, but try to have eye contact with the audience and try to see that. Those who were present in the seminar, you might have seen that the speakers come with slides, but they don't read slides. The slides are for the audience, and they know that when this slide comes, what to speak. So they keep on speaking with eye contact with the audience. They don't read the slides. So that is what you also have to learn, that the slides are for the people, not for you. So you don't have to read everything word by word. Slowly and steadily make the practice to see that you read less and talk more on this. The good presentations were made by AKASH, Bhumi, DHATRI, Jayashree, Kavita, and Kusum. You made quite good presentations today. To score full marks in this rubric, you need to put one question or hypothesis also in the initial, that what you are trying to explore. So your hypothetical statement or a question which you will try to explore. In conclusion, you will try to give answer after analysis. So in I think Akash's presentation, we had a question about what he is trying to explore. That you all also can try. Quality resources, most of you are bringing now quality resources. Some of you rely on other, but articles, gesture articles or other journal articles you are trying to bring. In one or two, we had the MKBU gesture links also. I think Kusum had that in the presentation. So that also explore the library, our e-library, and through that you can get to the gesture article to bring the quality things. In this comparison with Devdas and this Eliot, still the connection was not properly getting through. So lots of things needs to be seen, that what are the conditions of J. Gatsby, and only on the idea of love object or the thing, you can't fix up the entire narrative also. So that also needs to be seen, that how that comparison is done with. And also when you compare, ask why are we comparing, for what purpose. So one of the purposes of comparison is to see that through that we can see something important in either of the things. For that, comparison as a tool is used. So what more can be explored which cannot be seen if you don't compare. So when you compare, then only that is visible. So that becomes very important. So with Indian context or in colonial India, when we try to see the 1920s, then what difference does it make for that time? That needs to be seen. Also, colonial India, the word when we use that word, colonial India, many writers also write when they write about Devdas' story from the novel, which was in colonial India. But how is that character, Devdas, or that family is being affected by colonial India? When we speak about colonial India, we do remember freedom struggle. We remember the people who were imprisoned. There were so many people who were in jail. There were people who were punished, like Bhagat Singh and other people also. So that is so. Was there any conflict with Devdas, that he was running away from the British police, or he was captured, or was there any concern? His friends were there in freedom struggle. Then colonial India. Otherwise, it is just the time where British Raj is there, but there are no such other repercussions. There are many such rich families who were enjoying the life of British Raj. There are many rich families who were happy during everybody were not unhappy. There are only few who were unhappy. And those unhappy people normally are in prison, even today also. And them also. By and large, other people are happy with all the kinds of things. So today also so many people are happy. And some are in prisons. Then that those days also, most of the people were happy doing the thing, and some were unhappy. So they were in this jail or that jail. So that is colonial India. But in this Devdas' case, that colonial India remains absent. So that parallel needs to be seen. Datri is a good example of digital texts also, which helps in reading the complex poems. So how those sites are prepared, that is also very good to see. Two references were given, and so in this, how some difficult word or other things get, like once you scroll on this, that particular word is hypertext. So one can see this, and this is a good example also, that it leads to the map also. So we're talking about mapping literature. Class discussion several times we have said that how one can map the literature. So this is how they have done here. They have put the image and other reference. Then what is the connection? Allusion is coming on a different side. It's a very simple site, and this kind of things you also can prepare on Google site also, or on PPT also it can be prepared. These are not difficult. So these are very easy digital humanities projects which can be taken. We had one speaker from my university talking about projects. So these kinds of projects on any literary text you can pick up. When Gujarati literature you can pick up, and here you can travel to that place, take a photograph, and put the things also. And the outsider who has not come to Gujarat, for them that becomes a unique experience. Going through a Gujarati poem or a Gujarati novel and visualizing small videos of that place, or a photograph of that place, or some historical background also. Now that work can be done only by the people living in their geographical locations. The others cannot do that. So that way it helps the other people. And that also challenges the limitations also that we see. This was another example where the website can be divided into two pages. And you can move this page also. And so once you click on the keyword, you get the references on this side about those things. Through this slide. So this also is quite a good site where hypertext linking is given. I think in the class we discussed this poem. This also was another example. We discussed this poem in the class we have seen. And here there is, it's more using better technology than those examples. That is the hypertext. This is somewhere a better, where you just scroll down. You just do nothing, but you just scroll down and things keep on changing. So automatically it focuses on about suffering and it keeps on giving. And then when there is a need, there is a graphics also. So pictures, images, because it is connected to the painting idea. But at the same time, what we have to see that this the title is very important. Why this is done? Why this is done? What kind of specific reading the people can get when they explore this way of looking? That is about suffering that hides in plain sight. That is the theme that this maker are reading. So the digital version of the physical text has also a kind of a thematic connection. With that theme, they are trying to explore. That you just scroll and you will get an idea about this theme that is suffering that hides in plain sight. That point, and so they say that the poem begins with the very first word about suffering. So poem is about suffering, but it is hidden. These sufferings are hidden suffering. They are not visible. So going through this, that particular part will be highlighted in that. So even in the painting, what to see? So we'll see that it will zoom in into that part of the painting. That is where this experience becomes unique. You give just a painting, but what to see in the painting? Where should I focus in the painting? That also this site is doing, and you don't have to do anything. Only you just have to keep on scrolling the things. So this also becomes that project of how in this image also how it goes to narrow down the focus also. So this becomes interesting to see how literature can become unique for whom? For those who are not native to the literature. For those who are not native to literature. So for me, English literature is not is a very remote literature. I am not rooted in the religion of English literature. I am not rooted in the culture of that literature. That geography is unknown to me. That geography also I don't know. So this all helps me. If it is Gujarati literature, I am rooted in that religion, culture, geography, language. So for me, this becomes unnecessary. But if I do that, that becomes important for the outsider who are non-Gujaratis. Like we are non-English people. So for us, it is valuable. The same way if we work here, then it is valuable for Marathi, Assamese people, Kashmiri people, Tamil people, for them. That becomes very interesting, or non-Indians also. So that can be seen when we see limitations, benefits, and the advantages, and for whom it is, in what capacity it is advantageous to the people. That can be connected with this also. In HARDI's presentation, outcast should be cited. Elizabeth, because she is the one pioneer who gave that idea about pandemic poem. So that was not cited, and that should be taken care of. HIRAL, only 2 sources were cited. You have to cite a few more sources also. There used to be a couple of spelling errors also, and it was very long also. So try to make it short within 7, 8 minutes. Color Symbolism by Kavita also was good. That also was quite long. Kusum also on green light. here you can also try to see this that how green color you were trying to see in one slide about this green color, and you put some photographs. So I think the images that were reflected in your slides, they were more of what can we see is as a Islamic color. That was how the green in Bollywood stands for a religious connotation also. So the pictures that were shown, that also, so that should be taken care of, not of that how the green color in today's discourse or in popular Bollywood is used, and against that there is that saffron color also. So there is lots of fight that goes between these two colors a lot also. So it's altogether a different connotation in the popular Bollywood or popular discourse in India that the green color stands for. Okay, fine. So we end our discussion with that, and best wishes for tomorrow's presentation, and inform the other